Dreaming of a better sleep? Tossing and turning is not your destiny. And Ollie is here to help. Ollie invites you to sink into sweet, sweet slumber to improve your mental and physical health and overall wellness. More than just melatonin, Ollie's ingredients help you unwind your mind for a delightfully dreamy drift off. Sleep is on the way at Ollie.com. That's OLLY.com.
This episode is brought to you by JLL. Get an insider view into the world of commercial real estate with JLL's podcast, Trends and Insights, the Future of Commercial Real Estate. Whether you're curious about making cities more sustainable, the evolution of office space, or AI opportunities, this podcast will help keep you a step ahead. Tune in for candid conversations with business leaders about the biggest trends impacting how we live, work, and play. Subscribe to Trends and Insights now at jll.com/podcast.
Today's lesson is the final part of a 4-part series we are doing on how to buy, fix, and flip websites. We also talk a little bit about building websites from the ground up. Hey, what's going on, my fellow future millionaires? Justin Williams here. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantabulous. As mentioned, this is the 4th and final part of a 4-part series we are doing on how to buy, fix, flip, renovate, build websites for wealth and or long-term cash flow. This is a topic that I'm very excited about, excited to get my kids going on, excited for a lot of you guys to get going on. If you have not yet listened to episodes 1, 2, and 3, go back and listen to those. Otherwise, let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you again the one and only Matt Raad.
Something I always tell people, I say, think less, do more. Like, you need to learn something. If you don't know anything, it's like trying to squeeze juice out of a turnip, right?
Can you read that? That's my saying.
Don't think, just do. Yeah.
That's our eBusiness Institute mousepad, because I keep saying to my clients, because everyone overthinks stuff. It's just like, don't think, just do. And I came up with that saying because I'm not technical. I used to get scared to hit the publish button or to move things around on a website. And Liz would stir me and say, no, I'm going to make you do it yourself. And I just have to tell myself, don't think, just do, Matt. Just hit publish. If I crash the website, it doesn't matter. I can restore it. That helped me overcome a lot of technical challenges in the early days. Because it is scary the first time you get on. Your son won't be scared, but for any of us, like I'm in my 50s, any of us that didn't grow up with computers, it's scary the first time you play around. Like if you transfer a website, let's just say you've spent $5,000 on it, so that's a bit of technical stuff going on when you transfer a website from one person to another, especially if they're in another country. Once you've done it once or twice, it's easy. That's the cool thing now. All this technical stuff, that's what we're good at teaching, but we can get total beginners building websites and buying websites.
If he has a bunch of vertical videos from his Instagram, he can put those on YouTube still, doesn't matter, right? You don't really post videos on Instagram and put them on your blog, right? It's more YouTube.
No, you need to create some text with those videos, but you would definitely pick out the best ones or the ones that have high engagement, and then you'd test headlines that go with it and put text with it. Particularly if they're teaching technique, you could actually stick all of them on to a blog, because it could be, how to do stunts on trampolines, how to learn them in a weekend. Then people want to watch the videos and you have commentary with it or text with it explaining the points, and they're all your good keywords that you've researched, you put them in, and then at the end you have a call to action. Hey, if you want to take this to the next level, we've got a simple little course for $99. You can get all my advanced techniques that my mentor taught me, or something like whatever it is. Like that's down the track. I'm just saying that's why you have a blog. You always have that little call to action at the end.
Yeah, but he could have like a post for beginners or whatever, 15 to 20 different tricks. And he could create a video for each one, how to go through the process. And then he can blog about it, do some keyword research, kind of see different possibility of things that he could write about that people are looking for regarding freestyle trampolining. And then he could interview other people, create videos out of that. And then he has that name recognition from some of the world's best flippers or whatever.
And basically that's how we do it with any website, no matter what niche you go into. You do the keyword research, you figure out what content can I put in onto this website that I'm about to buy so that more people will come to it and follow it. And then basically that's how we build the asset over the next 5 years or the next decade that we own the website. If you want to go faster, like the single dad that did the 4 flips to 9 million, you do it full time and you just go hard with all the content. And then that's a more aggressive approach. But most of our community are building these assets up over time.
I love the systems, processes. I mean, when we were flipping a lot of houses, we were flipping over 100 a year and not looking at them, right? How can we systematize this thing? Which is fun and a little scary at the same time. But let's say you got a few going, maybe you have a little extra capital. So content is a big thing, right? I've heard you talk about you can outsource content writing. What does that look like?
It's a lot easier than what it used to be. The best spot to start is a website called Upwork.com. So you hire really good writers there. There's actually journalists on there now. They're very reasonably priced. It's not like when we first started. You do get what you pay for though. So most of our clients, once they're getting into the six-figure range, like if they're making 10,000 plus a month, they typically will have one or two writers, maybe up to 4 writers and 1 editor. That's about it. That's all you need. Depends how much content you're putting out there, but you can manage 2 to 4 websites with that pretty easily. I know you like systems and stuff. There's no exact answer to that because it depends on the size of the websites and how much growth phase you're in. But, for most of these content sites, the only team you need is a couple of writers plus yourself to oversee it and editor / SEO manager, I suppose you'd call, or just an editor of the articles, and then a tech person, and that's it. That's why it's so flexible. And you can hire the writers ad hoc. You don't hire them full time. Same as the tech person for that matter. Writers come and go. Liz is on Upwork all the time. She hires people and she might go back to, I noticed the other day when I happened to open up her Upwork account, she'd rehired a graphics artist that she's been using from India for the last 7 or 8 years. She just hires him every, once a year to do a new little job or something like that. On Upwork, it's really good. It's like a marketplace for outsource. It's like Fiverr. Fiverr's good too. There's heaps of them, but we just happen to use Upwork.
Find the people you need and then you don't need anything else, right?
That's the other thing. Always hire someone that's 5-star rated. There's heaps of them on there. And ideally with 10,000 plus hours. Liz is really, really good at hiring people. She's a legend at it. I take hours trying to pick the right person. I read all their resumes, and
I think you're a lot like me, and our spouses are similar as well.
Go-getters. Like Liz is one of these ultra high achievers. She just goes, bang, that person's brilliant. I'll take them. I go, how did you pick that person? And she goes, don't waste time. I'm on a mission. So I don't know. She just does it. That's why I love keyword research, Joe, because I go deep on it. Liz is really good at keyword research as well, but we do things slightly differently. I'm more in depth. I sound like you, whereas Liz is maybe being a mum, she's got to do things quicker. I don't know. But
I'm always thinking like big picture strategy, like constantly have ideas. And Tara's like execute, get things done. I'm like, whoa, how did you do that already? What's going on?
I am in awe of what Liz does. She's the technical one out of us. It sounds like you guys as well. And she's very good technically, but she's the first to say, and she teaches this, guys, it's so important. Her advice to people is once you get into this and you like it, you need to hire a tech person. Just go on Upwork because you shouldn't be the one doing all the tech work and building websites and stuff. And it's easy. You can find people for $10 an hour to do that.
And they will help you essentially build your website.
If they stick with you for years, they basically just learn how you like to put together websites. But you still need to know how to build a website first yourself. But then you very quickly, what Liz says to everyone is just hire a techie. Whereas my opinion is I like to hire writers and get the content going, and I'm still building and playing with the websites myself. But I think Liz is right though. If you're listening to this and you want to know how to get into this, it is worth starting to hire a techie, and it's a lot easier than what it used to be. Just go to Upwork.
As far as your writers go, do you pay them per hour, per word, per article?
Both, all of the above. I know that's frustrating, but it just depends. And often it's per hour though, depending on the topic. But it generally comes out at a per article amount. Like you might negotiate, 5 articles for $100 or something like that.
5 articles for $100. So that's $20 per article. Like that sounds amazing to me. So I want to hear more about that because I've heard you talk about some of those numbers for creating articles. How long is this article?
Generally about 1,000 words.
So you pay $20 to get 1,000-word article?
It's changed now. It's a little bit more now. So US, it depends on the quality. Anywhere from $20 to $30 is the norm. So in the old days, it used to be $10. Now it's about $20 to $30, but the quality is a lot higher now. It's really high. But some articles, when we go really high quality and if they're longer, we're happy to invest depending on the topic. And if it's a good money-making site that we're making really good money off, I'm happy to pay $50 to $200 for an article. Maybe $300. Now, that's not normal. If you're listening to this, Please don't think that's not. I'm just sharing my experience because sometimes people are shocked. But you got to remember a good article, if it ranks, it will make you money for the next 10 years. It's your silent partner. It just sits there bringing in traffic. So articles are highly valuable if you get good ones. But typical price though, you should be getting articles around the $30 mark, and it can go $10 either side of that.
Yeah, because it's like at the end of the day, okay, this is a site I may or may not be that passionate about, but I'm just trying to build it up and see if we can get a bunch of people coming to the site, right? So that is different than for Millionaire University. Like, we're very picky about everything we publish because that's our brand. We're trying to build like $1 billion business essentially over 10 years, right? I don't know if I would throw up $10, $20 articles.
That's a really good example. Justin, would not be cost effective to be spending as low as $20 to $30 for articles on a site like that you're building as a very serious asset down the track. But you could certainly find good journalists, Justin, who may be $50 an article. We have found some mind-blowingly good journalists out there who are doing articles between $30 to $50. You'd be surprised these days. There's a lot of journalists have lost their jobs, particularly here in Australia. And in America, it's even bigger. Upwork's an American site, but it's funny, our Aussie journalists are ending up on Upwork as well. So you can get full-on finance journalists. We've had finance journalists for $50 an hour. $50 an article. The best ones are up around $100 an article. So this is high-quality stuff. Very, very high-quality stuff. Some of them are well-known journalists too. Once you get to realise who they are, they don't say that in their Upwork description. You can see the niches they're in and everything. So for most of us who are buying standard sites on Flipper, just to get a feel when you're renovating the sites, I'd say $20, $30.
Are you doing any kind of link building?
Yes, that's a whole topic in itself. I love teaching SEO. I'm an expert at it. And well, all of us are, here at eBusiness, we live and breathe by SEO. That's a massive topic. I don't even know where to start there. What I will say is SEO is a content-driven strategy. And so basically what you do with creating what's called on-page content on your existing website, to do the link building, it's virtually the same sort of content. And basically what we're doing is getting either guest posting or mentions out there on the internet. That's basically how it boils down. It's always been that way. But some people say guest posting's dead. No, it's not from our end. It works incredibly well, done legitimately, and it's got to be high quality content. But as a beginner, what we've noticed is when you get into niche sites, the good news is when you're first starting out, you don't have to focus on the link building, because if we try to teach people everything, they'll overthink and they won't be doing this if they're worrying about link building. So in the first part of the journey, don't think just build the site and get used to learning how to renovate a website. And then later on, yes, you definitely, especially if you want your website to go big, you will need to be creating links back to the website.
So the idea is take action, then you know the questions to ask. One of my favorite kinds of learning is what they call just-in-time learning, not only because it has my name in it, but it's the concept of you learn what you need to know to do what you need to do. And you don't go try to learn everything, because then you're going to get analysis paralysis and not really get anywhere. So I love that message. And that's kind of part of one of the other questions I had for you is like, how do we get people to just take action? But I think we've covered that, right? Yeah, take action, start small.
Start small and safe. There's no risk. It's not like the old days where you had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars to get into a good business. You don't have to do that now. You can get started on Flipper, $5,000, $1,000, $500, buy a simple website, build it. Or if you're passionate about a topic, just build your own site for free. It costs you nothing. $10 for a bit of hosting. Just use Fast Comet, but any hosting company is fine. $10 for a domain name, $10 for a month of hosting, and you're up and running.
So I want everyone to make sure they're hearing the think less, do more, the just do it, don't overthink message. But I do have a couple other questions. In real estate, there's a lot of different ways to finance. Let's say someone is buying a website that cost $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000. Are there what kind of different financing options are there out there?
Okay, so for you guys in America, you guys are laughing. You've got this thing called the SBA loans, small business loans. And in Australia, It's just cash. You can't go to a bank for a loan on a website. It won't happen. They will not do it. It's even hard to buy a traditional bricks and mortar business with Australian banks. You've got to tie up everything. So basically, that's why the people we teach, they've already got some money. This is not a buy, no money down type thing. It's not like that. You can do that with bricks and mortar businesses. You can get, though, vendor financing on websites. So there's a lot of that. That's very normal these days. So if you see a website for $1 million or $500,000, typically you can get a bit of vendor financing thrown in if the market's not running too hot.
And by vendor, you mean seller, like the person selling it?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you guys call it seller financing. We call it vendor financing. And in America, the good thing is, because most of the sites we own are US based, even though we're in Australia, most of ours are .coms, you can often negotiate, I'll pay you $500,000, but I'll give you half up front or 200 up front and maybe 100 grand every 6 months or something like that. Or it just depends. The brokers are really good at organizing those sorts of deals. That's very normal. But in America, though, you do have the SBA loans, and I think, is it up to $1 million? It's pretty easy. Like one of the brokers was telling me on websites, you can get SBA loans, but speak to a broker and they'll help with that.
So you can get an SBA loan. You can potentially do vendor or seller financing.
Particularly on the bigger deals. So realistically, on websites under 50,000, you're probably not going to get seller financing and stuff. That is where the brokers are good, also with those SBA loans and stuff.
One of the main things that we would do with real estate is what's called, well, either hard money but mainly like private financing or JV partnership type financing. So for me, like when I started flipping a really high volume of houses, we knew we could buy houses. We could prove that we could buy houses. We went and found a guy that had deep pockets and we showed him the returns and he's like, I will fund any house you want to buy up to like, here, you have like a $2 million line of credit with me, and would give him like half the profit, right? So that helped us get going. And then after a while, it was like we were able to find different people that we could pay 10% on their money and stuff like that. You guys do stuff like that in this?
Exactly the same thing, yeah. So on our Digital Investors podcast, I've interviewed Ewan Finzer. He is an American and he does exactly that. He's like Liz and I, been doing this for 15 years. He's started out buying and selling websites. He's a bit younger than myself. He works from home, but he's got a multi-million-dollar portfolio and he does exactly that. He's got investors. He's like us. He's very experienced. He's good at it. So people throw in money. It's really easy to raise money, but you have to have runs on the board. So like you were just saying, Justin, you're good at it. It comes from networking and stuff like that. So we've been offered lots of money. People will say, oh, can I put $1 million in or 100,000 in or whatever onto deals? We've decided, because we value freedom a lot. Liz and I don't want to manage people's money. It's not our strategy. We rather teach people. But just like in real estate, once you get good at it, that's a big thing now, is people pooling money to buy websites. And there's private equity firms that do that as well. And that's really exciting to me. That's why I know this is a really good booming market. So I noticed that in bricks and mortar world, once the private equity move in, you know you're in a good big market. And private equity can be big and small. There's some really cool boutique private equity firms buying up websites. It might just have 10 million, but then there's private equity firms that will have hundreds of millions or up to $1 billion.
Shipping can make or break a sale, so optimize how you ship your orders with ShipStation. They make it easy to automate and manage orders no matter how big your business grows. And they might even be able to help reduce shipping and warehouse costs. So optimize and keep up your momentum for growth with ShipStation. Sign up for your free 60-day trial now at ShipStation.com and use the code POD. That's ShipStation.com with the code POD.
You're buying and selling businesses, so it is a little bit different to real estate, but essentially it's the same strategy. You know, someone who likes the website space will say to Ewan, can we put money into your fund? And what he does, he builds websites from scratch. He doesn't buy them anymore. He builds them. So he's got this team. I think he said he's got 300 writers on his books. And so he just builds 30 websites at a time, and then he just lets them sit for 12 months, and then whichever ones are working, they're the ones that he really then pushes. And so he just raises funds to do that because he's got runs on the board.
That's amazing. See, me, because I'm an investor, now we're on the other side of that, right? At first it was like, couldn't feed the kids, had to work my butt off. Then it was like raise money. We had $10 million at one time, just going into like circulating these houses, maybe more. And then it was like, oh, now we can use some of our own funds to buy these houses. And now done doing that, sold a business. Now we're the ones investing and looking. So I see opportunities that I'm like, wait, I can make 20, 30, 40, 50, 100%, maybe even more on my capital. Someone else is going to go do the work. I'll do that all day long.
That's what we do. Over the years, you mentioned another way to get leverage into this is doing JVs, joint ventures. We love doing that. So we find, because of who we are, we're very well networked. We notice good operators. We call them operators, who are typically be young people, and they're building a website. And we just say, well, we'll buy the website, you run it for us, and you share in the upside. And when we sell it, we do the split, or you can get 50% or something like that. That happens a lot in this space because there is a lot of people who are good at doing this, but they don't have the money behind them to buy a bigger website. They max out a bit because you can't go to a traditional bank to get money to buy them, unlike real estate. So they will max out at $50,000 websites, whereas someone like us can come in and say, well, here's $100,000 or $200,000. You can buy that bigger website that we just saw with that broker. Sometimes I find the deals and I'll go to them, look, I want to buy this bigger website. I don't have time to run it because it's going to take a bit of time. It might be 6 figures, but I'll give you equity in that. And I know how they operate. These are young people, they need cash flow. So I say, on top of that, I'll give you X amount of the profits, depending on how much money you tip in. So each month, at least you're getting paid. And then when we sell it, you get the upside. So, a 6-figure website can be leveraged into a much bigger website down the track.
So that's kind of along the lines of where I could possibly be. I mean, we invest in different companies and lots of commercial deals and stuff like that. But
we do the same. We're angel investors too into startups, but we do that through an angel investing group. But with the websites, we do stuff privately.
Yeah.
And also because we're good at it, we can kind of do our due diligence on the deals and on the person that's going to operate it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'd have you do for me. Just kidding. Just pay you a fee. Just kidding.
You got to learn how to do it yourself. That's the fun part. You got to. There's a few moving parts to websites compared to real estate. Admittedly, there is that extra kind of technical element and some of the things that we've discussed today, like the keyword research and SEO and the backlinking and all that sort of thing. But the ROI is heaps higher, or the cash flow is massive with websites. It's 80% margins. We did used to teach this, like seriously, go out there and buy a $200,000 website and you can instantly be making 30% ROI on that every month. That's pretty cool. But now we're not as keen to teach it because we want to see people play it safe and learn how to take the small steps first.
Well, I got one more question for you, and then I do want to ask, which we already kind of got into, how people can learn more about you and take us to the next level if they want. But I know you can either hold up a website, but if you're going to sell it, same idea, like do you go to like flippa.com or one of these brokerages and just list it on there? Do you have a broker represent you? How do you sell them?
Go to a broker because they've got the buyers. That to me is an absolute no-brainer. You would definitely not try and sell it yourself because you'll never get the same price. I'm proud to say I've trained up one of Flippa's number one brokers and I gave him a reference to go into Flippa actually. That's his path. He used to buy and sell. He got so good at buying and selling and flipping websites. He's a young guy, became their broker, and the multiples he gets for our clients through selling through Flippa is just amazing. Like he will sell simple little hobby sites for $20,000 and stuff like that. That's the power of a good broker. Both parties have to be reasonably happy. Once he's got a good website, he can get top price for it. Now, if that person tried to sell those websites themselves, they might not even get half of that.
And in real estate, typically the goal is to buy it off, not on the MLS if you can, not on the website, and then sell it on the MLS, sell it on, because that's where all the eyeballs are. That's where you get the like bidding wars and price drive up.
It's funny, most people in our industry do buy on the broker platforms. It's just that Liz and I started out because there were no brokers doing this when we first started. So we just did what we've always done. Like it was actually Liz. She just said, oh, Matt, why don't we do what we've always done? Just buy websites. I said, well, how are you going to do that? Where do you buy them? And we looked on eBay and I think we bought our first site on eBay. And then we figured out, oh, why don't we just do what we've always done, which is just private approach. Most people don't do that. They just go to the brokers because the brokers have amazing listings. They really do have seriously good listings. What's good now is a lot of the brokers do vet the listing. So they do a bit of pre-due diligence. So because they don't want to get a reputation for selling scams. There used to be lots of scam websites sold years ago. That's not as common now. You still need to do your own due diligence, like with real estate. There can be things there, but most people tend to buy and sell websites through brokers, which is a smart move. You can't really go wrong doing that.
No, you already got my mind going. I'm like, okay, hire a VA for a few dollars an hour, have them just make offers on hundreds of websites or reach out to hundreds of websites, see if they want to sell.
That's exactly it. You hire a VA, you give them your little 2-paragraph template and you say, this is the niche, go and send out that email to everyone. And then you personally handle the replies. The people that say, yes, I want to talk to you, then that's when you jump on a Zoom and you have a chat to them.
And that's actually how you and I met. Someone reached out, and I don't say yes to many of those, but I happened to see yours and it was interesting. And anyway, and then you and I got talking. I'm like, this guy seems pretty legit, seems pretty cool. I'd love to learn what he's doing. And here we are.
In the early days when we did this, like it used to be Skype back then, Zoom didn't exist. We weren't buying Australian sites, we were always buying American sites. As long as we get up early in the morning, far out did we meet some interesting people. We're just amazing, really. Yeah, made good friends and stuff. And people were, that was the other thing in this industry. I come from the background of buying some bricks and mortar businesses, manufacturing and wholesale. And in Australia, it's a very small marketplace. These entrepreneurs, they're very secretive, and it's very competitive because it's a small marketplace. It was really refreshing to us when we got online. It's a massive marketplace. America's a big place. People are very friendly too to us Australians as well. But we were shocked at how open people were with their websites. Total strangers like me and you here chatting though, after a while, they're just showing us everything. They're showing us their bank accounts, everything, how much money they're making. And that's continued to this day. Most people we meet in the online space, even our competitors, you always get to know your competitors in certain niches, really friendly. It was very different to being in buying and selling bricks and mortar businesses where I was constantly asked to sign NDAs. You know what they are? Non-disclosure agreements or confidentiality agreements. In this, people very open. They just want to do the deal.
Well, Matt, I love what you're doing. It's been great getting to know you. This series has been awesome. I literally was telling Tara last night, I was like, because our kids don't want to go to college. Like, we've ruined them, right? But now, and my son, he's getting traction. He finally got a job at Domino's. He delivered pizzas the last couple days. Like, I'm like, okay, hallelujah, he's got a job. Because at first, I'm like, just start a business. But I'm like, wait, he's like not really that focused. So he needs to have a job. And he needs to have a side hustle, if you will, and work on starting a business. So it's perfect. And I was telling Tara, I said we should, enroll him in Matt's program because, they're our kids. So it's funny because we're starting Millionaire University, and the whole concept of Millionaire University is, part of it is because we wanted our kids to have a place to learn, but we also want to maintain our lifestyle. And within a year or two, we will roll out programs and stuff like that. But you already have one. and my kids will listen to you better than they'll listen to me. And I don't know how to do this specific stuff in the way that you do, right? So anyway, long story short, where's the best place people can find out more about you? Like, mention maybe kind of a couple of the programs you have and what they teach, and then we'll wrap it up.
Easiest way is Google my name, Matt Raad, R-A-A-D, because you'll easily find it. But you can also go to our main website and business is called ebusinessinstitute.com.au. And if anyone goes there, we've got a free masterclass if you're interested in this, where we go through the strategy. We go through some very specific examples of buys and sells that us and our clients have done. It's a really good masterclass. And in that masterclass, at the end, we talk about our paid program if you want to study with us. And we've got a program called the Digital Investors Program. We've run that now for the last since 2010. We've got some great success stories, which you can see on our podcast as well, which is called the Digital Investors Podcast as well. And then we have a little small course that teaches people how to build websites as well.
Okay. So these two courses, the one that I saw because I watched the webinar yesterday on your website, the program you talked about in there, that's a different program from how to build the websites. Those are two different programs.
The one that you saw in the masterclass, the little program that teaches people how to build websites, it is so good that we've bundled it in for free as a bonus with our main Digital Investors program.
Okay, great. So my kids will get that as well.
They get everything, yeah.
And I think you said that in there, 2 people can go through the program.
Yeah, it's for family. So we're a very family-oriented business. So we love having father-son mixtures, or we have lots of daughter-fathers or daughter-mothers. So we like to encourage having families on board. because we understand in this day and age, how do you drag them along to this? Whereas if you buy the program as a parent and say, oh, look, we've got some logins for you guys as well. Just why don't you just check it out? And next thing you know, they're with us for life. We have some really successful young people that they started with us with their mum and dad when they were like 12 years old, 15 years old. And a couple of them end up skipping uni and they do this full time. We call it university here. Yeah, they're doing this full time now. They're in their 20s. It's pretty cool. So we have a big community in America, especially since COVID. I think we must have been discovered or something in America after COVID. I don't know. So, which is great. We love it.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. All right, Matt. Well, this has been awesome. Everyone check out Matt's stuff if you want to dive deeper into this. I look forward to having my kids learn more and me learn more. I'm just, I'll let them learn and then.
You'll love it. It is awesome. It's the best thing ever.
And we'll have to visit you next time we go to Australia. We love Australia.
We'd love that, and we'd love to come and visit you when you're in America or whatever other country you're in, but particularly...
Anytime, yeah.
Yeah, we're just talking about with the kids the other day when we were going to go back to America next, so can't wait to come over and hopefully visit you guys.
I love it. Yeah, come see us anytime. We've ditched the big 8,500 square foot house, but we'll come hang out or something, so...
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. Well, thank you so much for having me on, Justin. It's been a real pleasure.
Okay, thanks, Matt. We'll talk to you soon.
Woohoo, doggy! Alrighty. Well, that was absolutely amazing. That was an incredible series. Thank you so much, Matt, for just dropping the gold. Bomb after bomb after bomb. I know I had a lot of questions for you. I appreciate you keep bringing it back home to the basics. I mean, it really is, like Matt talked about, it's all about taking that effective action where it really counts, because that's where you're really going to learn. That's where the real questions are going to come. That's where you're really going to see progress in your business and in your life. Think less, do more. Just do, don't think, as Matt says. If you would like to follow and learn more from Matt, you can go to einstitute.com or look up Matt Raad. That's Matt, R-A-A-D, and his name will pop up all over the place. As he mentioned, he has a free training, a free webinar that he and Liz did that goes over some of the things that we talked about today, covers a few other things, and then they go into a little more about one of their programs. So check that out if your heart so desires. Other than that, we appreciate you. Thank you for being on today. Special thanks to all of our sponsors who help keep the show going and growing. Huge thanks to you. As I was talking to Matt, something that came to my mind that often comes to my mind as I'm interviewing different people or talking to different people who have been successful in business is it's amazing that once you get going on a business and once you start or continue to build on and develop skills that you either know something about or maybe you don't, it's amazing what that can lead to. Matt started taking action in business many years ago, and I haven't even talked to him about all of his story. I'm sure even that part just started with taking small actionable steps. And then that led him to recognizing that they can buy and sell websites. And then doing that has led them to being able to start an education business and teach other people. And then we're all benefiting from it. And that's another business for him. And then we talked about all the businesses within the businesses. My mind is just blown when I think about all the different opportunities that there are in just the things that we talked about in this series alone. And then you kind of heard us go off about him talking about it's all about getting eyeballs to the website. Then we're talking about it's about getting earlobes to a podcast. Same thing with a newsletter or social media, even though social media wasn't what we focused on today. And that's just if you're doing a content business, right? There is so much opportunity in business. It's all about figuring out what you want out of life. What are you good at? What do you want to focus on? And then start taking action towards it. And you'll start to learn and develop skills and see things that it would be impossible to see otherwise. Skills that you never would have known that you could leverage into something else. Opportunities will come up that didn't even cross your mind before. Things that literally no one else will be seeing but you. And then those skills start to overlap. They start to build on each other. They start to compound. You start to get to know more people. You start to build your network. And it's just so much fun. Matt and I kind of touched on this, but to me, building businesses, it's like a game. It's so much fun. It's like the best hobby that you can also get paid for, which I guess doesn't really make it a hobby. But shoot, if it's fun and you can get paid for it, I mean, that's incredible. But at the beginning, it takes time. I've heard it referred to like the valley of gloom or the trough of sorrow. There's always this time at the beginning, people are excited. And then they take action, or they don't take the right kinds of action, but they get going and they don't totally get the results that they wanted right away, that they hoped for. And they think, oh, I'm not making as much money as I can work at like a job, or I'm not having the success right out of the bat that I thought I would. And that's where 90% of people or more give up, and their dreams and hopes are just washed away in the trough of sorrow. That's where you need to push through the most. If you can push through that and keep taking the rejection, keep taking the stuff that's not totally working out, keep trying, because every time you try, you realize you either learn what worked or what didn't work. And then you try it another way and you keep trying, and then you keep learning, then you know what to learn, then you're more dialed in on what you're learning, and you just keep going. And then eventually you'll start to get some traction, and then you'll struggle a little more. Then you get more traction, and then you'll struggle a little bit. And then you get to this point where the traction, it just starts to take off, and it starts to get fun, and you start to make money, and then you start to make more money. You start to see patterns. You start to see what's possible. You do more of what's working. You do less of what's not working. And it's just so much fun. Okay, you get my point. Just move, just take action, just start. So once again, look up Matt Raad if you want to learn more from him and Liz. They're incredible people. If you have a friend that you're wanting to help out and you like this series, please share it with them. We love you all. We got lots of exciting things coming up here on the Millionaire University podcast, so stay tuned. This is Justin Williams, your Chief Money Making Officer, signing off. Until next time, class dismissed.